All right. Are we going? Looks like we're recording. Looks like we're going. All right. Good morning. Hey, welcome. It is I, your host, Poco Kiddo, with yet another episode of Redstone Lapis Lazuli. It is incredible that I'm here. Let me get into this. All right. So behold, my creation. It's my creation. I am streaming on a brand. Oh, I didn't change all my stuff. Options, video settings. Extras. You don't need to see all that frames per second nonsense. Come on, dude. Okay. Um. Duh. I am. See, am I recording? Yeah, I'm recording. Okay. So, it's been like a couple weeks, right? Since I wasn't here last week. My mom came down from Nevada to hang out, and we had Mother's Day here, and it was really nice. It was really nice to see my mom and my brother again. Um. Yeah. So that was good. And then but at the same time, I decided to upgrade my system. So, at the same time, I like massively upgraded my system. You remember me talking about how like I was unsatisfied with the performance of my machine the last couple streams. I was like, man, this is not right. This is not right. Well, I fixed it. uh, but it costs a lot of time, money, energy, and sweat and pain. Uh, so let me tell you about it. First, I'm like, hey, I want to use this brand new spanking AV1. This new codex AV1 is amazing. It's a fantastic codex. So like, I was like, sure, let's do that. So I got a new video card for that. However, I didn't want to get like another AMD card or another NVIDIA card because I feel like I got kind of like swindled. Not swindled. Like the whole reason why I got the AMD card, the NVIDIA card, was for their RTX Minecraft, the RTX Minecraft. And at first, I was pretty impressed by the RTX Minecraft. Like I was able to overlook all the other shortcomings of Bedrock Minecraft in order to experience the ray tracing of Bedrock Minecraft. Well, after a little while, I finally started to notice all the details that were missing from Minecraft Bedrock that were in Java. Um, so I was like, all right, all right, all right. So I decided to go AMD since in Java I changed from playing Bedrock to playing Java, and in Java there's no RTX. There's no special proprietary programming language specific for NVIDIA cards. It's uh, Java is open source, so anyone can make changes to it, and AMD is all about being open source. So that's good. So I decided to switch over to Team Red, to AMD card. Well, I wasn't, I wanted originally to get a 4080, but a 4080 would not fit into my system. It doesn't fit it's ginormous. You ever look at a 4080? It's a huge card. It will not fit into a standard computer case. You have to get a special, like, huge case in order to run in order to get, in order to have a 4080. You have to have a huge case, and I don't, man. I bought my case back 5 years ago, like before anyone thought video cards would get so big. Uh, Yeah, so like I wasn't prepared. And I had to measure, I literally had to measure my computer case and look up the specs on the manufacturer's website, and then measure out the card by millimeters to determine I had exactly 287 millimeters of space in my case for a card, and then find the one card. No, I think there might have been two. The two cards, but one of them was like bad reviews. So the one card that would fit into my case exactly by exact dimensions, exactly 287 millimeters long, exactly. Okay, so I got it. And I put it into my machine, and I kid you not, dude, I had to wedge it in between the fan and the fan in the front, the fan case in the front, and the the steel part in the back. I had to wedge it in there to get it in there, and it's in there. It's pressed against the fan case, but it's in there and it's working, right? But that wasn't the only thing, right? That wasn't the only thing. I also had to upgrade the RAM. RAM was easy to upgrade. That was not really an issue. Um, yeah, it's easy to upgrade RAM. You just like get the right RAM and then you stick it in. That's it. Uh, I need stairs. Well, so that was easy. The RAM part was easy. So now I've got like more RAM, and that's nice because I can load a lot more stuff into Minecraft or into memory. I was getting a lot of problems with hiccups, like stutters in Minecraft. And I'm like, dude, I have a top-notch machine. I should be having zero stutters, no stutters. Well, why am I stuttering? That's like, it's not supposed to happen. So I figured it was because I need more RAM. I probably don't need more RAM, but anyways, I am now running Minecraft with 1, 2, 3, with 12 gigs of RAM. I'm running a 12 gig RAM, and it runs really nice. And I'm using a different garbage collector, other than the one it came with. I'm using Shenandoah garbage collector. Pretty good garbage collector, like pretty good. So it runs butter smooth, right? Minecraft runs butter smooth with the RAM. So the RAM was a good choice, and it will help me to edit videos, because now I have to get into video with this big ass video card. I have to get into video editing. I have no choice. I have to get into video editing now. And I didn't really want to, right? Because I already did sound editing, and that was like tedious. It's okay for my own stuff. But I don't want to do it for other people. I guess I feel video editing is going to be the same thing. It's okay to do it for myself, but I won't want to do it for other people because it's going to be tedious. Maybe not, right? Because I have the tools now. I have like the proper tools, so maybe it won't be so tedious. So I got the RAM, I got the video card, but then I started noticing another thing. I noticed I could not maintain like above 80 frames per second in Minecraft while streaming on OBS. And like that was a problem for me because in my vision, the way I see, I need a minimum of 80 frames per second and VSync and a monitor with FreeSync in order to get that fluidity, the fluidity of motion, where the jaggedness doesn't like really bother me too much. So, and then I'm like, wow, then it feels really good. Then it starts like flowing. So in order to overcome that, I needed to upgrade my processor. I was already using the top of the line, or the top like consumer brand, I guess, consumer level like chip, which was the 5800X. I was already using that, and it wasn't enough. 8 cores is not enough for what I was doing. So I bit the bullet and 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 got the 5900X chip, which is the enthusiast class. This is no longer the best chip for playing games. Now it's a chip for what I'm doing, content creation. So I'm like, yes. However, this is like an enthusiast class level chip. So all of the guardrails and hand holding that they do on the consumer level chips that they have to do because consumers don't want to bother with don't want to fiddle with stuff. They just want to plug it in and play. But the enthusiasts, they want to push the hardware to its absolute limits in general. In general, you don't buy this chip unless you want to push it to its limits. I mean, I guess you can just get it just to do work, but a lot of people like to overclock their stuff. So so there's no guardrails on this chip. So when I just like plopped it into my system, uh, it didn't like it. My system was totally unstable, and I couldn't figure out why. And it bothered me for like days and days and days trying to figure out how can I get stability in my system while using this chip. I thought the motherboard was no good. I thought I didn't have enough power, so I replaced the power supply. I thought that was the issue. I didn't have enough power, but that was only one of the issues. There was a few issues I had. One issue is I didn't have enough power. The other issue was that the BIOS was not set up correctly because my motherboard wasn't designed to take this chip. They had to retrofit it. They had to replace. I had to replace the BIOS and delete the entire segment for all the older chipsets that it was supposed to support. Like this board was supposed to support like 1000 and 2000 series chips, maybe 3000 series chips. It was not meant to support 5000 series chips. So when 5000 series chips came out and everyone was like, hey, we want support on this, the MSI is like, well, we can do it, but we have to delete the older stuff, the 1000 and 2000 series. And so if you're going to do it, you can never go back. And we're like, do it. They're like, okay, here you go. So we got like this hacked together BIOS in order to like run this chip. And it's got no like precautionary settings. So yeah, dude, when I just plopped it in without changing anything, it like crashed over and over and over again. So I was in my Minecraft world, right? I was in this world just playing. I didn't know that my chip was gonna crash over and over and over again. And I was in this world and it crashed over and over and over again, to the point where I could not get back into my world. My world got corrupted. It was broken. I couldn't get in. So I'm like, oh shit, I'm bumming. I was really bumming, right? Because I put a lot of work into this world. Look at this world. This is a great world. It's got a functioning iron farm, a functioning wool farm, a functioning bamboo and sugarcane farm. It's got a train station. I've got like stores of food and gold and diamonds and redstone. Like, why would I want to lose this world? Like, I spent a bunch of time on it. So in order to save the corrupted world, I had to clone it. I had to clone the world and then come back in as a new player. So all my stuff, all my equipment I was wearing, and all my inventory, like that was in my ender chest, is gone. And all my recipes are gone. I have to physically like redo the thing in order to have the recipe now. It's not in Minecraft anymore. I have to like that's why I can't like make anything, even though I have the components for it, because I haven't made it yet in Minecraft. So until I make it, it's not going to show up in my recipe book. It's like I'm a brand new player. But hey, I saved the world, right? I'm playing it. I'm here. So like, oh yeah, I also lost a monitor. In the process of my computer crashing over and over and over again, it blew out the adapter I had from a DVI to a USB-C adapter. It blew it out. So I'm only going on 2 monitors right now. There's just so many weird things, man. There's so many like screwed up things. But like I'm here. I got it. I got it going. It's working, right? Look how beautiful it is. Look how beautiful. So it's running. It's stable. And it's beautiful. It's running stable and it's beautiful. I found out after a lot of research and fiddling with the BIOS and doing a lot of research, I finally figured out what was wrong with the 5900X. Nothing. The chip is fine. Nothing's wrong with my motherboard. The motherboard's fine. The power supply was not powerful enough. I needed to replace that with an 850 watt power supply, which I did. But the problem was the BIOS settings, and specifically, like leave everything into auto, put everything on auto. Specifically, the problem was that the chip was pulling more power than the board can handle. The chip wanted like a shit ton of power, and the board wasn't designed to give the chip the power it needed. It still could that's the thing, right? These chips can be undervolted. You don't have to push them to the absolute limit. You don't have to, because at that point you're pouring in a ton of energy for just a tiny bit of increasing gain. It's diminishing returns. So, and you're generating a whole shit ton of heat just for that little tiny increase in performance gain. It's not worth it, is what I'm saying. There's a point of diminishing returns. So, so what I did is I just limited the thermals. I limited it to 90 degrees, which it should have been, and I limited the wattage to 200 watts across the board. I mean, for the chip. So it's rated to only pull 105 watts. I don't know if that's per core or what, but yeah, that seems to have done the trick. Now that I've like regulated the power flow and have a steady power flow, that's the thing. It was the power spikes that would cause my motherboard to crash, or my system to crash. The CPU would call for a shit ton of power, and then there would just be a huge spike in energy, and the motherboard's like, no, I'm out. Close. No, we're done. And so it closed down over and over and over again until I figured it out. And then I just put a limit on how much the board could call up at once. And after I put that on there, I benchmarked it, and this system runs better than most with similar components. It runs better than most other computers because I built it myself with my own components. It's not a pre-built. I made it myself. I chose every single part. This is a great machine, dude. I love this machine. Okay. So there's the saga of getting this machine to even be here right now to stream. All right, so my mom came down from Nevada. I was looking for wood. My mom came down from Nevada to hang out in Oregon, and it was fun, right? What did I do? I took her down to Portland. I took her to downtown Portland, and there was a travel agency that we went there. Really, really nice travel agency, Willamette Travel Agency. In downtown Portland, beautiful office, and downtown Portland is nice. You know, just walk around, see the nice shops, and the buildings. The weather was nice, and yeah, right. I'm walking through downtown Portland, and of course, there's going to be homeless people, and people with disabilities who are on the streets. Yup, and I showed my mom all of that. Right. We weren't in danger. I wasn't afraid that we would be attacked. You know, this was like 12 noon, downtown Portland. Like, I wasn't afraid of getting attacked or anything, but I didn't want to pretend like it wasn't there. I didn't want to pretend like homelessness wasn't a problem. Like, my mom and I had lots of talks about it, about like solutions and what to do about it. Like, it was actually good that she saw it. I'm glad that she saw it. Because we can have honest discussions about it. She has a friend who never sees it and has bad ideas on how to fix it, because she never even wants to deal with it. She never wants to be exposed to it. She never wants to come down to their level to understand. To come down. I mean, basically she's pretty well off. She's really well off, and she has nothing but contempt. And it's like, come on. It's because she gets information from bad sources. But that's a whole other story. So yeah, and downtown Portland's nice, dude. We went to Voodoo Donuts and got some Voodoo Donuts. I couldn't finish my donut, but my mom finished hers. So, she had a Voodoo Donut and finished it. That was funny. Yeah, so that was cool. It was a good day to go down to downtown Portland. What a nice town. I like Portland. Yeah, Portland's a nice town. We drove around. It was cool. What a neat town. It's too far for me to like visit regularly. I live in Salem, right? So I'm not I take my mom there for like special occasions, but I'm not going there regularly. Man, it's a hellish drive. It's at least an hour drive driving really fast through thick traffic. Like it's no fun. It's no fun. So unless I'm going up there to visit someone. If there's someone that I know and I'm going to go up there, I'm going to be real glad to see, maybe. But like just to go by myself? Nah. No. Like if I were to go to see a show up there, I would need to get a hotel room. There's no like going to a show and then like getting out at 1 a.m. and then driving home. I'm not 21 anymore. I can't do that. So yeah. Um so 2 weeks have passed since I've done a show, which means I'm so far behind on like what's happening. And it's been kind of nice to like be out of the loop because like yeah, it can start wearing you down after a while, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know what I should do is replace every block here with like stone. I don't know, that might be weird. Or I can continue it because then it's oh shit. Ah! No feather falling. Ah! No feather fall. Damn it. Oops. Now you see why I don't play hardcore. Hey, let me get my stuff. Yeah, just a lot of stuff going on. How many people have died in mass shootings since my last show? Right? Right? How many people have died in mass shootings? Ugh. Oops. Let me arrange this real quick. Sorry. Sorry. So I've got stock of what's going on. Okay. Oh, this is crap. Crap. Bones. Who knows what they're for? Bones. I'm a Minecraft player, not a doctor. Like I can totally change this up to be like more. Maybe not. To be more aesthetically pleasing, but not now. All right, let's see what's going on. What's going on? Check my big ass folder of stuff. Let's get to the talking part of. I mean, I've been talking, right? But let's get to the other thing. Oh, hey, I got computer pictures. Let me show you. Let me show you some stuff. What I've been doing. Yeah. So there's my computer case, my fan, right? I live in a dusty ass house with 2 other cats. It sucks. Like, so my computer gets real dusty. I bought like a data vac. Well, it's not a real data vac. It's but it's like a mini blower, yeah. Because I can't afford all the cans, and it's bad for the environment. So I got a fractal design case, because that's, I don't know. I like that name, fractal design. I accidentally broke a supporting peg when I was changing things. So you can see I was using oh yeah, here. Oh shit. Where'd it go, dude? I lost it. So you can see here I was using a GeForce 3070, the last EVGA NVIDIA card they're gonna make. So I took the guy out, but in order to take this card out, I had to remove my water block off the CPU to get it out. So it was a process, right? I had very little room to take out the screws, and it was getting dusty in there. Oh no! Oh no! Man, see, I'm no good at doing it with only one monitor. I can go like this. Can I shrink this as much as I can? Yeah, like that. Okay. Okay, and then continue on my thing. So I had to remove that guy, right? Take him off, and I did. It was fun. And the thermal paste, and the thermal paste there too. So I took out the power supply. I took out the 2 connectors. Look how much, you see right there? You see how much room I have? I have 2 millimeters to spare. That's 2 millimeters of space right there. That's my card. That was my card. That was my old card, the RX 580. Look how small it is. And look, that's my new card, the XTX. Look how big it is in comparison. This is 2 millimeters bigger than this one. But it's much thicker and heavier. So there it is, right? I had to stick it in, I had to fit it into that space. That's the space I had. And that's how I fit it in. It's literally pressing up against this fan case. And it's hilarious. It's ginormous to fit in there. Like, I'm telling you, I had 287 millimeters of space, and I used 287 millimeters of space. Yep, and that was a bitch to get in there. And I forgot to take these covers off, so it was even harder to get in there. So yeah, that's what it looks like inside. It's like massive. There's 0 room left in my little tiny case. And then there's the massive wires in the back that I had to pull all this out anyways to replace the power supply. This 750 watt power supply is not sufficient. It was not sufficient. I had to replace it. So anyways, then I had to replace the water block. And that's my old chip. That's not even my new chip. And I put that's too much. But yeah, then I just like put the M2 drive in. But the mistake was putting the M2 drive in after I put in the video card, because the video card made it really, 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 really difficult. It was like playing Operation in order to get that thing in there and the screw in there. It was such a pain in the ass. But yay, it was done. And then since then, I filled up my RAM slots. So and I replaced my processor. Ah ha 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 ha. Okay. Oh hey, I'm still here. Anyways, so enough of that. Now, so last week or a couple weeks ago, there was a guy who well, first let's start with Elon Musk is a Nazi. 2, where's Elon Musk is a Nazi 1? I don't have it. All right, well check this out. Elon Musk is a Nazi. Oh man, I'm so lost. The shooter in Uvalde, the shooter in not Uvalde, but in Texas, the mall shooter in Texas had fucking Nazi tattoos on him. The shooter in a see, look, this is his social media post. He posted this about himself, and he went and like killed a bunch of people. And then Elon Musk said, "That guy's not a Nazi. What are you talking about?" Musk here on Alan Shooter, it was incorrectly described to be a white supremacist action, and the evidence for that was some obscure Russian website. Motherfucker, no it wasn't. Yeah, he posted it on the Russian website, jerk. The Texas police last week, we do know that he had neo-Nazi ideations, he had patches, he had tattoos. Elon Musk can't stop lying because Elon Musk is a Nazi. He's the enemy of the United States. You have to understand, Elon Musk is the enemy of the United States. Look at here. You could tell now he's also an anti-Semite, which is a person who hates Jews. So you can say, look at right here. Elon Musk says that Soros reminds him of Magneto, of a villain, who's a Jewish villain, even because Magneto is like a Jewish guy in the comic, and who survived the Holocaust. And for some reason, Nazis, right-wingers, love to hate on Soros. Why? Why do they hate on Soros? For them, Soros is the answer to all their problems. Soros is the one who pays people to protest. Soros is the one who funds all the bad things. It's like, why? But look at this. Look at the way that he's going here, right? So Elon Musk says Soros reminds me of Magneto. Then this guy says Magneto was way cooler. And then Elon Musk has fair point. And then Brian Krasenstein says, fun fact, Magneto's experiences during the Holocaust as a survivor shaped his perspective as well as his depth and empathy. Soros, also a Holocaust survivor, gets attacked non-stop for his good intentions, which some Americans think are bad merely because they disagree with this. Okay, and then Musk says, you assume they are good intentions. They are not. So Musk says he knows that Soros has bad intentions. Musk says that Soros wants to erode the very fabric of civilization. Musk says that Soros hates humanity. 3. Here's Elon Musk's net wealth. He owns $177 billion. Elon Musk is worth $177 billion. George Soros is worth $6.7 billion. Why is a guy with $177 billion calling a guy with a fraction of his net worth? Why is he saying that the little guy is evil? What? Elon Musk has vastly more power than George Soros. Elon Musk has vastly more influence. Remember, Elon Musk is the guy who literally bought a social media company because people made fun of him on it. Elon Musk is like totally the evil guy here, but he's pointing to the little guy as the scapegoat because he's Jewish, and it fits in with Nazi propaganda because Elon Musk is a Nazi. But did you see that? I don't know if you even see what I pulled up. Here's Elon Musk's net worth, $177 billion. And here's Soros' net worth, $6.7 billion. Why is a guy with $177 billion attacking a guy with $6.7 billion and calling him evil? There's so much. I need my third monitor. 3. Soros, and I'll tell you why. Soros Fund Management has sold its entire $16 million stake in Tesla. So Soros dumped Tesla stock. It just dumped it. They just don't want it anymore. That's why. After Soros dumped his Tesla stock, Elon Musk started talking shit about Soros and being a Nazi. Because Musk is a Nazi. His ego is fragile. It's so easily broken. He's so weak. It's terrible. This guy's a fucking Nazi, Elon Musk. He can't handle anything. And so if you shatter his ego, he will turn Nazi on you. Like Soros didn't do anything to Musk. He didn't do anything. He didn't do anything to be called the scourge of humanity. He did nothing of the sort. All he did was dump Tesla stock. That's all it took for Musk to turn on Soros. It's hilarious. All right, what else do we got? That was not Elon 5. Elon Musky. Oh yeah, here. But wait a minute. Elon Musk's growing empire is fueled by $4.9 billion in government subsidies. This is May 30th, 2015. This is before any of this stuff happened. Los Angeles entrepreneur Elon Musk has built a multi-billion-dollar fortune running companies that make electric cars, sell solar panels, and launch rockets into space. And he's built those companies with the help of billions in government subsidies. In other words, George Soros is worth $6.7 billion. Elon Musk got subsidies worth almost as much as Soros. And yet Elon Musk is calling Soros the evil one? The bad one? Just because he dumped Tesla stock? Musk, you're a piece of shit. You suck. You took subsidies worth almost as much as the guy you hate, and yet you still hate the guy. Your entire fortune is only there because the U.S. government helped you. That's it. Your diamond, your emerald mine in South Africa wasn't enough to help you make it in America. No, you needed the U.S. government help in order to make it in the United States. Musk, you're a failure. You suck. You're terrible. I don't care about your fucking rockets and your cars that suck. You're a piece of shit. Look what you did. Like, your content. It's all about your content. Look at your content, dude. It's terrible. Yeah, Musk is a Nazi, and a Nazi can never do good things. Fuck you. All your actions are tainted by your Nazism. Oh man, there's so much here. Yeah, that Elon Musk is so stupid. Like, but here's the thing, right? Think about the cognitive. I heard about this and I thought that was interesting. Think about the cognitive impairment that comes along with owning billions of dollars of wealth. The cognitive impairment. So creatures, in order to understand the world, they take information in from the world and then make a decision based on that information and then act on the world. So a creature has to be able to distinguish between stimuli that indicates danger and stimuli that's neutral or indicates food. You have to be able to figure out which one is which so you can behave appropriately. If you misidentify a danger and you call it food, you're going to die, and then you're not going to be able to reproduce and pass on your genes and move forward on this universe, on this timeline. So it's important to be able to to be able to take in information, process it, and then react accordingly. Well, we can already determine what happens when someone hijacks that process. Look at Fox News. Fox News has hijacked that process so that the person no longer is getting information from the environment. They're getting information from Fox News. Fox News is a propaganda network. All they do is pump out misinformation. That's why they got sued by Dominion and they lost, and that's why they're getting sued by a systemic or systematic, whatever, and they're going to lose that as well. And that's why they fired Tucker Carlson because they're just a bunch of propaganda. All they do is put out lies. So if all you do is get your information from Fox News, you're going to believe a bunch of stupid stuff, and you're going to be like a dumb Republican Nazi. Well, and you can see what happens. Well, a guy with a ton of wealth has a similar problem. No one around a guy with a shit ton of wealth wants to tell the guy with a shit ton of wealth bad things. Nobody does. Nobody does. Because the guy with a ton of wealth can destroy you if they don't like you. They can utterly destroy you. You're probably dependent upon them for your job and your income. So you're not going to tell them something that displeases them. You're just not going to do it. So it's almost as if you're getting your information from Fox News because no one's going to tell you what's really there. No one's going to tell you. And you can't possibly use your own senses to get all the information you need in order to come to good decisions. You can't use your own senses. You rely on the information that other people give you in order to process the world. There's just too much information. You can't do it by yourself. But if the people around you are giving you bad information, then you can't come to good decisions. There's just no way. So Elon Musk is a Nazi, but it might be because no one around him will dare give him information that would contradict him and destroy his ego, because his ego is super fragile. So if you go in there and tell him, dude, you're fucked up, you're fucking shit up, Elon Musk is not going to take it well. He's probably going to retaliate against you. So there's like a serious cognitive deficit when you're super rich, because you can't get good information anymore. No one wants to give you the good information. What else? Man, I've got so much. Should I just go through one at a time? There's just too much. Andy Biggs, Rep. Andy Biggs, House Resolution 2004, to provide for a limitation on the availability of funds for the Department of Health and Human Services, Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, substance abuse prevention for fiscal year 2024. Because if you listen to Republicans will tell you that the problem of mass shootings in the United States is not related to the availability of firearms. No, Republicans like Andy Biggs will tell you that the problem is mental health. That's why Andy Biggs says, well, I think the problem with mass shootings is mental health. So Andy Biggs, in order to address the problem of mass shootings associated with mental health, Andy Biggs wants to take away money from the treatment of mental health, with the idea that since mental health increases mass shootings, this bill will increase the level of mental health problems in our society and increase the number of mass shootings. Andy Biggs is literally a Nazi. He literally wants to murder your kids so he can continue to touch guns. He tells you so. He uses, even in his own broken logic, he can't help but betray his Nazism. He can't help it. He can't help it. He knows, according to him, he believes that the problem isn't the availability of the guns, but mental health. So he exacerbates the mental health problem in order to exacerbate the mass shooting problem, because he's a Nazi. Well, he's a white supremacist. Let me be a little more specific. He's a white supremacist, and he believes that white people should take over the whole country and get rid of democracy and have the elites rule everything. That's what he really, really believes, because he's a white supremacist. He really believes it. He's a Confederate. He wants to literally overthrow the United States and replace it with a non-democratic government. He tried it already. He already tried it in 2021, and he'll try it again. He'll do it again. He's a fucking Nazi. So check out what happened. So all this people talking about like gender and transgender people and bathroom and rah. These are Nazis. We're talking the only people who are worried about bathrooms are Nazis. They're white supremacists. The only people who worry about the bathrooms are white supremacists. Let me give you an example of why it's only white supremacists who care about the bathroom issue. So here we have a video of a woman. Oops, shit. Here we have a video of a cisgendered woman. She's a cisgendered woman, right? She has a vagina. There's a person with a vagina, right? The person with a vagina. And this person, and who identifies as a woman, a person with a vagina who identifies as a woman, is in a woman's bathroom. And the other women in the bathroom look at this other woman and say, we don't like you. We don't like the way you're dressed. We want you to leave. And we're going to use violence in order to make you leave. No joke. No joke. So because this woman did not appear feminine enough for the other women in the bathroom, they called the police to use violence to expel this woman from the restroom. For what reason? For what reason? They don't have a valid reason. All they have is their bigotry and hate. All they have is, we're going to kick out this woman because we hate her. That's white supremacy, guys. That is literally the basis of white supremacy. We're going to use state violence because we don't like you. That's literally white supremacy. This woman, she's white, right? She's white. So your skin's not going to protect you. Your skin doesn't protect you from white supremacy. It doesn't matter if you're white. You're still going to get fucked with. because white supremacy uses other forms of oppression, like patriarchy, in order to oppress women and oppress groups. They'll find ways to oppress you. Fascism always finds ways to oppress humans. Always. So let's look at this, right? A lesbian cisgendered woman is escorted literally with violence out of the women's bathroom by police. When the police are involved, it means state violence, right? That means she didn't voluntarily leave. It means she was forced out with violence by the police. Because a Karen called the cops on her because she thinks she was a man. Bathroom transvestigations are only about enforcing gender conformity, nothing else. This was a bathroom full of cisgendered women, invaded by male police to take a cisgendered woman out of the women's bathroom because she wasn't wearing womanly enough clothes. This has nothing to do with biology. We're not gonna papers, please, the bathrooms in 2023. Thank you very much. So no joke, right? Let's watch the video. Let's watch the video. I'm not making this up. Like you think, I'm not joking.
No ID. This is a girl, and you guys are harassing her because she's a dyke.
And I'm in the back. I'm a fucking female.
This is a girl.
Do I have to tell you again?
You have ID?
No, I do not.
Get out. Get out. Get out. You got no ID? Get out.
God, why do you need ID for a fucking bathroom, dude? You don't need papers for a bathroom.
Oh,
What? What?
That's crazy. Don't worry, I got you.
Again, bro.
Violence! 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 The police put their hands on her. Violence! State violence! State violence! State violence! State violence! The police put her hands on her. State forcing her out. State violence. Why? Because she didn't look. She wasn't the right kind of woman. She didn't look womanly enough. She didn't appear like a woman enough. That's why they kicked her out. They used violence. The police put her hands on her. Fucking Nazis. I'm not shitting you, dude. People like that are Nazis. They're white supremacists. They literally want to overthrow our government. They've already tried. They've already tried. You think I'm joking? I'm not joking. They're literally Nazis. Oh yeah, no, not literally, not American Nazis, I guess. American Nazis. Ooh. Here. Remember this guy? This guy is Jeremy Bertino. Jeremy Bertino. He's convicted of seditious conspiracy. He's convicted of treason. Here he is pictured next to other Proud Boys, and because they're a gang, right? They're a gang. They're a gang, and he's wearing like military gear, right? Because he wants to like intimidate people, and that's his patch. That right there is his Proud Boy patch, and he's next to another guy, Proud Boy, Proud Boy. These are all Proud Boys, right? Right? And he's got all this shit on him. But what's this thing? RWDS. That stands for Right Wing Death Squad. He wants to kill people. The Right Wing Death Squad, those were the people in Nicaragua. Those are the Contras. Remember Nicaragua in the 1980s? The Contras are Right Wing Death Squads. They would go around and fucking kill people just because they could. He wants to emulate that. This dude wants to emulate that. He tried real hard to overthrow our government, and it failed. But he's wearing this patch because he wants to murder people. How do I know this? Because the Allen, Texas shooter wore the same patch. You know the guy with the Nazi shit on him? The tattoos? He wore the same fucking patch. And he literally went out there to murder people. And he did. Because they're Nazis, guys. They're all connected. The women who kicked out that woman from the bathroom with state violence is the same as this guy. They're the same group. They're the same people. The same thing. They're not separate. They're the same thing. All right. Here's another example of the creep of fascism. Hey kids, this is why all those laws that sex workers tell you are smoke screens for purity culture bullshit are actually bad. Our shop, Sweet Read Sict, has been closed off from PayPal. PayPal accounts for half our regular business and the vast majority of our international business. Why? Because they said that they were doing the sale of sexually oriented materials or services. But what is it that they do that they violated the sale of sexually explicit sexually oriented materials? They're literally a bookstore. They're a bookstore, dude. They're a bookstore. It should be noted that the shop does not actually sell anything sexually oriented materials or services. The most graphic thing we have is the Emptied Spaces anthology, which is nowhere near as salacious as what you can find at Barnes & Noble's or your local bookshop. So it doesn't matter though. Some asshole reported the store and like turned it in. So it doesn't matter if the bookstore doesn't sell anything sexually oriented. All it takes is some Nazi to call in and say, "Oh, this is a Jewish bookstore." I can't say Jewish bookstore. This is a bad bookstore. You should like cut it off, and then they'll do it. It's the same thing, guys. It's the same thing. They're all connected. Da 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 da. Durham. Yeah, I'll get that later. Elon Musk is a Nazi. Here we go. CNBC had this question prepared but couldn't do the smallest amount of journalism and confront Musk with the photographic evidence admission by police. So look what happened. Musk doubles down on his claims that there's no evidence the Allen, Texas mall shooter had white supremacist beliefs and that Bellingcat does psyops professionally. So this Nazi, Elon Musk, is on TV denying that the Nazi who shot up the Allen, Texas mall was a Nazi. Why does the television station give a Nazi a platform to gaslight the Americans about the Nazism of the shooter? Why do it, CNBC? Why do it? I mean, it exposes that Elon Musk is a Nazi and that he's sympathetic to Nazis and that he's gaslighting for Nazis. It shows us that for sure. But why give him a platform? Fucking give me a platform, dude. Put me on television. Help me out. Don't fucking give a Nazi a platform. Yeah, that's why Elon Musk is a Nazi. All right, May 15th. A woman who said she worked for Rudy Giuliani during the last 2 years of the Trump administration alleged in a wide-ranging lawsuit that Giuliani, the former president's personal attorney, discussed selling presidential pardons and detailed plans to overturn the 2020 election results. In a 70-page complaint filed in the state court in New York on Monday, Nicole Dunphy said that after Giuliani hired her in January 2019, he sexually assaulted her and harassed her, refused to pay her wages, and often made sexist, racist, and anti-Semitic remarks, adding that she had recordings of numerous interactions with him. There's tapes. Dunphy, who's seeking $10 million in compensatory and punitive damages, said Giuliani had hired her for $1 million a year in addition to expenses and pro bono legal representation for a domestic abuse case against a former partner. But after she was hired, Dunphy alleged Giuliani kept her employment secret and paid her only about $12,000 and reimbursed some of her business expenses, owing her $1,988,000 in unpaid wages. She said she was fired in January 2021 after the insurrection failed. So Rudy Giuliani is basically what happened is Rudy Giuliani is being sued by someone because she said he hired her, showed his dick to her many times and said, hey, you need to jerk me off. And she never did. She got mad. And the entire time he would sexually harass her, and he never fulfilled any of the obligations he said he would. And then he fired her. But the big thing is that Giuliani was selling Trump pardons for $2 million. Wow, dude. Wow. Let me get coffee. Selling pardons for $2 million a pop. And she has recordings of it. It's not her just saying it. It's not he said, she said. It's basically he said, and here's a recording of him saying it. So, yeah, Giuliani, Trump is an evil, evil person. Trying to overthrow our government. We have so much evidence of it. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. We have so much evidence. I like how the wood looks woody. No, it looks like wood. I've seen some texture packs that make the wood look shiny. I'm like, what? Why? Why shiny? Then it looks like plastic. Oh yeah, it looks way different. Without the HDR, it looks kind of flat. Yeah, okay. Hello, wolf. Wolfie, wolf, wolfie, wolfie, wolf. Woof. A wolf. Oh, I have to be careful. I don't have boots. I don't have snow boots. I can't go up there because no snow boots. Powdered snow will kill me. I will freeze to death. Okay, what else is going on? Elon Musk, evil. Giuliani is selling pardons for $2 million each. Let's see. Oh yeah. Jury finds Trump liable for sexual abuse and defamation. A jury of 6 men and 3 women awarded the writer E. Jean Carroll $5 million damages. Donald Trump called the verdict a disgrace. The problem is Donald Trump doesn't have $5 million to pay up. All his wealth is tied up. It's all leveraged wealth. It's like nothing. He's got nothing. PSA: 20 years ago from now, the only people who will remember that you worked late are your kids. One of my best ever managers used to say this often. He actively discouraged overwork. Yeah, dude, my dad worked overtime all the time. And like, yeah, he was always exhausted when he got home and couldn't really do anything. I think he was overworked, and that's and he used alcohol as like a crutch for the overworked. He used alcohol to deal with being overworked. My dad worked a lot of overtime. He worked a lot. And now he's not here. So I'd rather him work less and him be here. Okay. Learning. Teaching kids about frogs isn't grooming them to become amphibians. Reading a book about Einstein won't make your kids smarter. Acknowledging that some kids have 2 dads isn't trying to make them gay. It's helping them learn about the world around them. Mass shootings every day. Monday, mass shooting. Tuesday, mass shootings. Wednesday, mass shooting. Thursday, mass shooting. Friday, mass shooting. Saturday, mass shooting. Sunday, mass shooting. Republicans, we gotta do something about trans people playing sports. It's funny because they're white supremacists. Right? There's all these mass shootings, and instead of dealing with the mass shootings, Republicans want to ban trans people from playing sports. Because they're white supremacists, you see? For white supremacists, mass shootings are a feature, not a bug. Mass shootings allows them to touch guns. So they will happily sacrifice children as long as in order to touch guns. Oh, they love to sacrifice children to touch guns. They'll even sacrifice their own children to touch guns. Ask them. They will tell you, oh yeah. Oh, you want to take my kid? Go ahead, as long as I can touch guns. They will happily sacrifice their own children. And you think I'm joking, but ask them who they vote for. Remember, your vote is one of the most powerful ways you can speak. Everyone talks about voice, my First Amendment speech. Motherfucker, your vote is so powerful that entire organizations are devoted to stopping you from using it. Your vote is the strongest, loudest thing you can say. It's the strongest, loudest thing you can say. So I don't care what you talk, what you say. If you vote for people who want to continue the mass shootings, it means you support mass shootings. I don't care what you say. It's what your vote says. Remember, Andy Biggs says it's not the guns, it's the mental health. So he goes and cuts mental health spending. It's pretty fucking obvious. Hey, look at those pillagers. They're gonna die in the snow. Ah ha ha ha! Die, pillagers, die! Freeze to death, you fools! Yeah, that's why I don't go up there. Bye-bye. All right. Yeah. Mass shootings every day, and Republicans want more of them because mass shootings allow them to touch guns. It's the sacrifice to the white idol that lets them touch guns. Yeah, the white idol is a thing, dudes. I'm not just saying it. It's a thing. What else do I got here? McCarthy. So what's in this supposedly common sense bill McCarthy is demanding in exchange for not destroying the global economy? So because so right now the United States is facing on June 1st, the United States will default on its debts because Republicans who control the House have not yet passed a budget that will fund the United States. And Republicans are the ones who control the House of Representatives, so they're the ones who are responsible for doing this, and they have been unable to do so. They're not able to pass a budget, and it's like when Democrats had control of the House, they passed a budget like right away. It was like one of the first things they did was pass a budget. But Republicans have, they're really, really weak when it comes to actual governance. And I don't just say this, right? You can look at the individual states in our country, and you can look at which states are controlled by Republicans, exclusively controlled by Republicans, and exclusively controlled by Democrats. And you will find that in the states exclusively controlled by Republicans, the government is pretty bad. All the social indicators are bad in Republican-controlled states. So in general, Republicans are bad at governing. And this is being reflected in the federal government. So the Republicans control the House of Representatives, but they're unable to pass a budget. And they're asking for the Democrats to help them out, to help pass a budget. So McCarthy is going to because the problem is that McCarthy is the leader of his party, and that in his party, in order to get power, McCarthy had to acquiesce to an extremist fringe of the party. The only way he could get power is if he accepted into the party a bunch of fucking crazy people, extremists. So now they're in. And now they're in the party, and the only way he could keep power, to hold power in his party, is if he keeps acquiescing to the demands of the extremists. So the extremists in his party want to blow up the U.S. economy. Now, they're already involved in a scheme to overthrow our government. So this is just another attack for them to overthrow our government. And McCarthy, because his power is tied to their being there, because he's only able to be speaker because of the extremists, he has to cater to them. If he doesn't cater to them, he will lose his power. And for him, power is more important than the credit of the United States. So he is unable to pass a budget because to pass a budget, he needs the extremists to go along with him. And they won't go along with him, so he has to cater to their demands. Well, if you cater to the extremist demands, the Democrats are going to help you. Why would they help you? So McCarthy's there going like, come on, Joe. I got these fucking crazy people. like the answer is for McCarthy to just let go of power, to admit that he can't do it. He can't pass a budget without having a bunch of extremists wreck everything. He has to admit it. But his ego is too fragile. He loves power so much, he can't do it. Remember, for fascists, power is the number one thing above everything else. Above your family, above your friends, above your children, above your integrity. The only thing that matters is power for fascists. So McCarthy, now that he has power, does not want to give it up. He will do anything not to give it up. He knows the extremists are going to wreck everything, but he needs them to hold on to power. So instead of giving up power to save the credit of the United States, he is going to take us down in order to hold on to power. That shows you McCarthy's loyalties. All right? Just so it's clear. Let's see. The GOP takes another misguided stab at defunding the IRS. So that's the thing, right? Another thing so let's go back here. What's in the supposedly common sense bill McCarthy is demanding in exchange for not destroying the global economy? Here's my handy guide for those interested in the substance of the legislation and not just the political gamemanship. Number one. So McCarthy wants unspecified across-the-board cuts to non-defense discretionary spending, down by 1/3 on average in 2024 after inflation. The cuts would then expand to roughly 59% on average by 2033. Does this mean WIC, border security, Pell Grants, FBI? Nobody knows. They didn't say anything. They didn't say what they wanted to cut. They just said they want cuts. And they want the Democrats to come up with what would get cuts. They just want cuts. They don't care where. They want Democrats to figure out where the cuts come from. They just want the cuts, the extremists. So in other words, they don't actually have a plan. The Republicans don't have a plan. They don't have a budget. They have ideas of what kind of budget they want, but they haven't actually made one. And they're asking Democrats to make them a budget that will satisfy their demands. So one of their demands is to defund the tax police, the IRS. The Republicans have been clamoring so loud to defund the IRS, to make it harder for the IRS to collect taxes legally owed by wealthy people and corporate tax cheats. So in other words, at the same time Republicans cut taxes for the wealthy, that lowered the income. Republicans also want to defund the IRS. Who did the IRS go after? The rich people who don't pay their taxes. If the IRS has no money, then they can't go after wealthy people who don't pay their taxes, making our budgets go down even more. Well, now that our budgets have gone down even more, now they're coming and they have to write a budget. Now they're saying, we don't want to write a budget. We're going to give you a list of demands and make you write the budget, or we're going to crash the economy. That's all they have is a list of demands. Republicans are terrible at governing. You can see it here, right? They don't have a budget. They have a list of demands, and they want Democrats to fulfill their demands and write the budget for them. Because Republicans can't govern. The fundamental fact, Republicans can't govern. Look at their states they control. It's not just me talking shit. Look at the states they control. The rightward march of the Overton window. In the nearly 30 years since the Oklahoma City bombing, the country took an extraordinary journey from nearly universal horror at the action of right-wing extremists to a wide embrace of a former president, also possibly a future president, who reflected the bombers' values. In other words, in 1990s, Timothy McVeigh bombed the Social Security building in Oklahoma City in order to attack the federal government. And everybody, Republicans and Democrats alike, were like, this is horrible. How dare you use domestic violence? How dare you use domestic violence and kill people who have nothing to do with your belief system? People working at Social Security have nothing to do. Their kids in the daycare underneath, who all got blown up too, they had nothing to do with it. All Americans came together with the understanding that domestic terrorism was bad. 30 years later, we have Donald Trump having the same values as Timothy McVeigh try to overthrow the United States Constitution with violence, and like a third of Americans are on board with it, saying, yeah, that's exactly the thing I believe in. 30 years ago, it was a bad thing, but now it's great. Isn't that weird how the Overton window shifted from terrorism is bad to terrorism for right-wing Nazism is great? That's a bad shift. That's a bad shift. The cost of cars. Everyone's like, cars are the pollution of cars. Cars are terrible for our country because of all the pollution it makes and all the oil. Man, really? If you want to get really down to it, it's the traffic. It's literally the space that cars require in order to exist. I don't know if that's, I don't know what town that is. Is that Los? I don't know. But look at the area of this downtown city, and then look at the parking area of the stadium. Just the parking area for the stadium is equivalent to the entire downtown metro area of the same city, in terms of acreage, of area. So the amount of footprints that cars leave are terrible. You need these giant ass roads, ever expanding roads, to deal with the ever increasing number of cars. This is a bad idea predicated on the faulty logic of capitalism, which posits that you can have unlimited growth and unlimited expansion. It doesn't realize that you're on a finite planet with limited resources. Capitalism and our reality don't mix. It doesn't mix. It doesn't mix. You can't have unlimited growth with finite resources. The car is an example of capitalistic thinking. There's always going to be more room and more space. No, dude. No. There's finite room. There's finite space. We need a way to shrink our stuff, not expand it. And the way we shrink it is through mass transit infrastructure, trains, subways, light rails. That's how we're going to do it, not through ever-expanding cars and giant parking lots. This is a waste of space and resources. Let's think smart and not be stupid. So remember how I was telling you that the Republicans messed up our tax system? This is the tax system we had in the 1950s under Eisenhower. So generally, it's a progressive system. The less you had, the less you paid in taxes. And the more you had, the more you paid in taxes. Until you got to the top 400 richest people. And at that point, their effective tax rate was 70%. Because concentration of private wealth is a bad thing. Excessive concentrations of private wealth is a bad thing. This tax system enabled us to build the interstate highway system, which allows us for great commerce because we're able to distribute goods throughout the entire United States with trucks, which is kind of bad. We should use trains. But anyways. Okay. This is the tax code passed by Republicans in 2018 when they had absolute power of the government. They had control of the House, the Senate, and the presidency. So they used all their power to pass the reconciliation bill, which changed the tax code to make it so that the richest people paid the lowest taxes. The richest people paid the lowest taxes. And they want to defund the IRS so that the richest people pay even less taxes. Now, we have the highest debt to GDP ratio since World War II because of what Republicans did. Now that Republicans did this, they come with a list of demands to Democrats and say, okay, Democrats, give us a budget based on our demands. We've already done this. We're about to destroy the world economy. Write us a budget with our demands. And Democrats are like, no, you're the one who controls the House. You do it. Yeah, where's the budget, Republicans? Where's the budget? What's wrong with you? Are you inept? Are you incapable? Like, it looks like you can't govern. You can't even write a budget. You can't even write a budget. It's like the most basic thing of the House is to write the budget. You can't even do it. You can't even do it. You're inept. You're inept. Yeah. They can't do it. They need the help of the Democrats. They can't write their own bills. They can't do it. They can't govern. Privilege and taxes. Same-sex marriage is not gay privilege. It's equal rights. Privilege would be something like gay people not paying taxes, like churches don't. Breaking. A genuinely interesting, newsy detail. U.S. government believes Russia learned of Steele's subsources via U.S. government. In my opinion, this is possibly that Russia compromised FBI's informant lists, which is why all the outreach to Trump was done via former FBI informants. So, moreover, significant intelligence information that first became available for the FBI to review in 2018 showed that the Russians had access to sensitive U.S. government information years earlier that would have allowed them to identify Steele's subsources. Indeed, an experienced FBI analyst assessed that as a result of their access to the information, Steele's subsources could have been compromised by the Russians at a point in time prior to the date of the release of the report. So remember that report remember 2016, Donald Trump is running to become president. The FBI is already doing an investigation on Donald Trump's ties to Russia because Papadopoulos, Donald Trump's coffee boy, blabbed to the Australian ambassador that Russia had Hillary Clinton's emails for the campaign. That started the investigation. Independently, Hillary Clinton hired this guy, Christopher Steele, to do opposition research on Donald Trump. But then they're like, you know what? We don't want this. We're going to stop paying for it. So the Clinton campaign stopped paying for the Steele dossier. Well, was it the Drudge? Some right-wing publication picked up the dossier and then continued to pay Steele to get information. That led ultimately to the Steele dossier. And the Steele dossier was given to the FBI, but the FBI didn't want it. So then he gave it to who's that guy? John McCain, who then gave it to the FBI. And then John McCain made it public to everybody else. And everyone's like, oh my, it was the first time that the public had heard about the Russia thing. So they're like, oh my God, what's going on? And it was pretty outrageous. And it turned out later on that a lot of the information in the Steele dossier was incorrect. Well, now we find out why that information was incorrect. It was incorrect because Russia knew who the informants were. They already knew who the informants were. They already knew. So they might have planted bad information. They might have killed those informants. They might have pressured those informants to give bad information. Who knows? But Russia was already inside FBI's list. That's the key detail. Russia was already inside. And we already know that Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani are pretty tight with the Russian mafia. Who else in the US government is tight with the Russian mafia? What's this? Oh yeah, dude. Good news here. So Russia has their big scary weapon that Russia has are hypersonic missiles. Missiles that go so fast they break the sound barrier. And that they're really, really hard to stop. Like you can't stop them. That's the big technological claim of hypersonic missiles, is that they go so fast you can't stop them. Well, this is a video of U.S. supplied Patriot missiles stopping these hypersonic missiles that were aimed at the Patriot batteries. They stopped them. Russia has no missiles that can get through our Patriot batteries. They have no more missiles. Yeah, dude, Patriots are awesome. So this is basically the thing working. This is it working. we're watching the Patriot missiles stop Russia's best missiles shot at Ukraine. 30 years worth of improvements. Pretty good. Yeah, dude, no problem, no problem. Yeah, fuck your hypersonic missiles. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Oh, it didn't pop up. Oh, do I have another one? Already up? What's going on? Oh, this one. All right. Okay. You're just not that into politics? Your boss is. Your landlord is. Your insurance company is. And every day they use their political power to keep your pay low, raise your rent, and deny you coverage. It's time to get into politics. How come I know that Republicans can't govern? Because I'm into politics. And I look at the states they control, and I see how bad they're run. More guns equal more gun deaths by Shannon Watts. Texas owns among the most guns per capita of any state. If more guns and fewer gun laws made us safer, Texas would be the safest state. Instead, it has the high rates of gun suicide and homicide and is home to 4 of the 10 deadliest mass shootings in the USA. Why isn't Texas the safest state in the union? It has a shit ton of guns. According to the white supremacists, having a shit ton of guns makes you the safest place in the world. But the numbers say the exact opposite. In fact, the numbers say that so many people die, that so many people have been sacrificed to the white idol, that Texas can touch the most guns. Because they sacrifice so many people, they can touch a lot of guns. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell struck a particular somber note at his press conference earlier this week when he mentioned that one reason the labor market is so tight right now is that many workers died from COVID-19. How many times have we heard that people just don't want to work anymore? People are lazy. They just don't want to work anymore. Motherfucker, they died. They died. They died. People worked so much, they died. COVID happened, they died. That's why we don't have any money to work, because all your workers died from COVID. The COVID you said wasn't a big deal, President Trump. So, yeah, it fucked up our economy because so many people died. Not because people are lazy, but because they literally died. Close to 500,000 people who would have been working died from COVID. This number includes older workers who left the labor force earlier than expected. These excess retirements might now account for more than 2 million of the shortfall. The other 1.5 million comes from a decline in immigration and a surge of deaths. So not only have Republicans stopped immigration from coming in, but their policies have killed a shit ton of people in the United States, which caused our economy to crash even more. Which is why I say Republicans are really bad at governing. They can't do it. They can't even pass a budget. They can't even pass a budget. Republicans can't even pass a budget. That's how bad they are. Kevin McCarthy has said he wants to lock in and extend the 2017 Trump tax cuts, which are set to expire in 2025. Extending those cuts would add a cumulative $3.5 trillion to the deficit through 2033. So this is what Kevin McCarthy wants. Kevin McCarthy says, I want to explode the deficit by a lot. Why would he do that? Why would he say that? Because that's what his extremist group has said, and in order to hold on to power, Kevin McCarthy has to acquiesce to the extremist group, or he'll lose his seat. He'll lose power. And all for power. He'll destroy the debt. He'll blow up the debt for power. Kevin McCarthy. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy confirmed during an interview that Republicans want to lock in those tax cuts that we got to pass in the next couple of years to make that happen as well. So he wants to explode the deficit. Why do Republicans love to explode the deficit? It's not just Kevin McCarthy. Every single Republican, whenever they have power, loves to explode the deficit. Why? Because when they lose power, then they come around and they use things like the debt ceiling as a club to beat the Democrats over the head in order to get tax cuts. So Republicans manufactured this economic crisis by cutting the IRS so they can't receive funds, and by cutting the taxes for the rich so the United States doesn't get enough money. Then they force a crisis by saying, oh, now that we can't afford our bills because we're not pulling enough money, now we're going to default unless Democrats listen to our demands and write a budget for the Republicans. So they literally create a crisis, and then they use it as a club to make the Democrats give in to their demands. Do you see how that works? That's not the only time they use it. They do the same thing with immigration. Republicans will refuse to do anything to solve the immigration to solve the border crisis. We need to reform our immigration process for sure. We need to fucking streamline it, hire a shit ton of more administrative officials to process way more people, to move them through much quicker. We need to be able to process those people and move them in to get our immigration flowing again. Democrats want to do this kind of work. They want to do it. Let's do it. But Republicans refuse to pass any bill that addresses it. Republicans want to close the border, the southern border. They don't mind immigration from white countries. They don't mind European immigration. They don't mind Canadian immigration. What they mind is immigration from brown countries, Republicans. So Republicans refuse to pass any legislation that would help streamline our immigration system. They won't do it. They just refuse to do it. And so that creates a crisis at our border. That without modernizing our system, that creates a massive crisis. When they get into power, Republicans use the immigration crisis as a club to beat Democratic administrations into doing things they don't want to do because of the crisis manufactured by Republicans. That's why I tell you Republicans can't govern. All they can do is make crises because all they want to do is destroy the government and take power because all they care about is power. Kevin McCarthy would sacrifice everything just to maintain power. That's proof. Like Republicans happily sacrificed all the children in Uvalde in order to touch guns. In fact, Texas sacrificed so many people to the white idol, they get to touch the most guns per capita. They're rewarded by the white idol. You think the white idol's a joke. You think I'm lying about it. You think I'm just making it up. In Republican-held controlled states. Oh wait, no, this is not it. But in Republican-controlled states, they're reinstating child labor. They're finding kids working in factories and slaughterhouses as young as 10 years old, and they're trying to pass legislation in Republican-held states that would allow for child labor again. I'm telling you, Republicans are terrible. Biology and sex. I just saw a transphobic post that was like, in a sexual species, females have 2 X chromosomes and males have an X and a Y. I'm not a bigot, it's just science. I'm a science teacher, so I commented this. First of all, in a sexual species, you can have females be XX and males be X, like insects. You can have females be ZW and males be ZZ, birds. You can have females be females because they developed in a warm environment, and males be males because they developed in a cool environment, reptiles. You can have females be females because they lost a penis sword fighting contest, some flatworms. You can have males be males because they were born female but changed sexes because the only male in their group died, parrotfish and clownfish. You can have males look and act like females because they are trying to get close enough to actual females to mate with them, cuttlefish, bluegills, others. Or you can be one of the thousands of sexes, slime mold, some mushrooms. Or did you mean humans? Oh, okay then. You can be male because you were born female, but you have 5 alpha reductase deficiency, and so you grew a penis at age 12. You can be a female because you have an X and a Y chromosome, but you are insensitive to androgens, and so you have a female body. You can be female because you have an X and a Y chromosome, but your Y is missing the SRY gene, and so you have a female body. You can be male because you have 2 X chromosomes, but one of your X has an SRY gene, and so you have a male body. You can be male because you have 2 X chromosomes, but also a Y. You can be female because you only have 1 X chromosome at all. And you can be male because you have 2 X chromosomes, but your heart and brain are male. And vice fucking versa. Don't use science to justify your bigotry. The world is way too weird for that shit. It looks like wood. By the numbers. Why won't the Russian army ever meet people for formal high tea? Because they prefer taking a lot of casualties. Russia taking casualties. Yeah, so I think the news today. Oh, did I keep that? Did I keep it? Let me go pull it up real quick. The news today is that Russia finally took over Bakhmut. Finally, after how long? Let's see. Let me pull up. It's too good to not share. I gotta pull it up. Where's that? I gotta share it because even when they lose, they win. I'm telling you. Even if the record skips, I still rip. Alright, check this shit out. Alright, here's the map of Bakhmut. Russia finally took over the rest of the city. The ruins of the city. So, right, how many people did it cost them? It cost them like 100,000 men to take this little tiny bit. Right? So you think, oh, look, how, so Russia's like, yay, we finally did it. It cost us a shit ton of blood, but we did it. But look, you idiots, look where Ukraine is advancing. On your fucking flanks, dudes, on your flanks. So you pushed in, it cost you 100,000 men to push in just this bit. But your flanks are coming in over here and coming in over here. The counter offensive. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna come around you and cut you off. The Ukrainians are gonna do the maneuver that the Russians could not do. They're gonna flank the Russian position, pinch them off, surround them, and then they're gonna starve them out, and they're just gonna die and have to give up. It's what Russia should have did, but they're too stupid. They made the same mistake when they tried to invade Kyiv, and they fucked up there too. So even when the Ukrainians lose, they win. I heard F-16s are on the way too. Good. F-16s, good. Charlie Savage. So, do you remember the Durham investigation? So the Mueller report came out, right? The Mueller report said, yep, the Donald Trump campaign worked with the Russians to overthrow the government, to overthrow the election. And then the Senate Select Intelligence Committee came out and said, yep, the Mueller report was spot on. In fact, the Mueller report didn't go far enough in detailing all the associations and connections between the Russia government and the Trump campaign. There were a ton. So after that, Donald Trump, as president, he's like, damn, these reports make me look real terrible. So Donald Trump said, all right, I'm going to do my own special report. I'm going to hire this guy named John Durham. Well, first of all, I'm gonna pick my attorney general, Billy Barr. Billy Barr is on Team Donald Trump, and Billy Barr will do anything that Donald Trump tells him to do. So Donald Trump picks this guy, Billy Barr, and says, hey, Billy Barr, I want you to discredit the Mueller report. I want you to get rid of it. So Billy Barr says, okay, I'm going to hire this guy named John Durham. And I'm going to tell John Durham, hey, John Durham, your task is to find the political background, the political reasons for the Mueller report, for the Donald Trump investigation. I want you to in other words, I want you to make the Mueller report go away and tell me that the Mueller report only happened because Democrats. That's what I want you to do. So John Durham spent 4 years and millions of dollars looking to prove the conspiracy theories of Donald Trump. And he had this grand conspiracy theory fed to him by the Russians about how the Democrats and the deep state were trying to overthrow, to ruin things or something. He had this big long thing. 4 years he investigated. And at the end, what did John Durham find? Nothing. He got nothing. He found nothing. He got nothing. But Mr. Durham's use of his law enforcement powers did achieve something else. He used court filings to insinuate. That's all Republicans can do, is insinuate. He used court filings to insinuate a theory he never found evidence to charge, that the Clinton campaign conspired to frame Mr. Trump for collusion. But he never found evidence to prove it. Those filings proved endless fodder for conservative news media. In other words, all Durham had to do was insinuate something in the news, and then all the right-wing news people would echo his insinuation with no proof, no evidence, just talking shit because he could. It would be like going up and saying, hey, yeah, your friend over there, he's an asshole. He's a motherfucker. He's a piece of shit. Your friend, he's the worst human being ever. And you'll ask me, well, why? And I'll say, I don't have any proof. I don't have any evidence. I just say that. And all my friends say that too. We don't have any evidence, but we're all going to say your friend's a piece of shit. You can't do that. You can't do that. You have no proof or evidence. And it's not true. You're wrecking this guy's character for no reason. But there's a reason. Because he wanted to... Because remember, Donald Trump wants the Mueller report to go away. The way you make the Mueller report go away is by saying it was the Clintons who did it. So Durham's job was to go out and find evidence that it was the Clintons who did it. And then the entire time, 4 years of him trying to do this, he kept going to the press and telling them, oh yeah, I think this is what happened. Oh yeah, I think this is what happened. Oh yeah, we're going to charge this guy because this is what I think happened. Well, none of the charges stuck. None of the evidence came up, but he spent 4 years talking to the press. How many times did Robert Mueller go to the press to talk to the press about his investigations of Donald Trump? Never. Because the prosecutor didn't want to insinuate something that wasn't true. Durham didn't fucking care. Of course, his entire point of doing this was to insinuate something that wasn't there. That was his whole point. Even after Mr. Durham's case collapsed, some Trump supporters held out hope that his final report would deliver a bombshell, but it largely consisted of recycled material, interlaced with conclusions like Mr. Durham's accusation that the FBI had displayed a lack of analytical rigor. He didn't fucking prove anything. He didn't prove shit, but he spent 4 years and wasted all of our money to help Donald Trump make insinuations. That's called the weaponization of government. Donald Trump weaponized government in order to go after his enemies. As Mr. Horowitz uncovered and criticized, the FBI later cited the Steele dossier in a wiretap applications, despite learning a reason to doubt its credibility. But Trump supporters often go further, falsely claiming that the FBI opened the entire Russia investigation based on the dossier. Mr. Durham's report appeared to nod to that false claim, saying that information received from politically affiliated persons and entities, in part, had triggered the inquiry. No, that's false. Yet elsewhere, his report acknowledged that the officials who opened the investigation in July 2016 had not yet seen the dossier, and it was prompted by the Australian diplomat's tip. He also conceded that there was no question the FBI had an affirmative obligation to closely examine that lead. In other words, the investigation into Donald Trump's Russia ties started when Papadopoulos blabbed to the Australian diplomat, and then the diplomat told the FBI. That's when it started. Not the Steele dossier, but it started with them. But Durham, because he's a fucker, he repeated that false claim over and over and over again in his report because he's a piece of shit. And he has nothing. He has no proof. All he can do is insinuate. That's all he can do. All he can do is insinuate. No evidence, no proof, nothing actually solid. All they can do is insinuate. Oh yeah, here. It failed to live up to the expectations of supporter Donald J. Trump that he would uncover a politically motivated deep state conspiracy. He charged no high-level FBI or intelligence officials with a crime and acknowledged in a footnote that Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign did nothing prosecutable either. In that sense, it was less that Mr. Durham failed to deliver, and more that Attorney General William P. Barr set him up to fail the moment he assigned Mr. Durham to find evidence proving Mr. Trump's claims about the Russia investigations. It was doomed to fail. It was doomed to fail because Donald Trump only wanted to discredit the evidence that had already been accumulated against him. He instructed his attorney general to follow these conspiracy theories, and then Barr told Durham to follow the conspiracy theories, and then Durham did what Barr wanted. At the same time, Mr. Horowitz, who was the inspector general. The inspector general did an internal investigation on the FBI and did a bunch of recommendations before the Durham report. So there's really no reason for the Durham report because they already did a review Horowitz. They already did it, and already made the recommendations. The whole point of the Durham investigation was to stir up shit. It wasn't to actually fix anything. So, this investigation by the Inspector General kneecapped Mr. Durham's investigations by finding no evidence that the FBI actions were politically motivated. He also concluded that the basis of the Russia inquiry, an Australian diplomat's tip related to the release of a Democratic email hack by Russia, was sufficient to open a full investigation. So, in other words, Durham spent 4 years spreading lies and insinuations for nothing. That proved nothing. But right-wing outlets will repeat it, and then my mom's right-wing friend will repeat it too, even though she's wrong, because they're zombies. What came first, the chicken or the egg? The egg already existed. Before turtles, lizards, snakes, crocodiles, all of these things are born out of eggs. All of these are born from eggs. Birds didn't appear until after these things. So with the question of what came first, the chicken or the egg, the answer is definitively the egg. The egg came first. Birds didn't evolve until afterwards. Comparative wealth gaps. Being poor in the United States is like being poor in Slovakia, except the US is twice as rich. Average income in the bottom 20% by average national income. So, in other words, how well off are the poorest people in your country? How evenly distributed is the wealth? Because USA is the wealthiest country in the world, but all that wealth is hoarded by the wealthiest people, and the rest of the people in the United States don't have anything. Let me prove it to you. You see this thing here? It shows you the national average income. And then here, it shows you the average income for the poorest people. So the richer you are, the richer your country, the more further away on this side you'll be. And the poorer your poorest people are, the lower they're going to be on this side of the graph. So we see the United States is pretty wealthy, right? It's pretty rich. It's up there with Norway, Iceland, Switzerland, Saudi Arabia, and UAE for being one of the richest at average incomes. Like really, really wealthy, right? But then we compare it, the poorest people in this country to the poorest people of the other country. And we see that the poorest people in the United States are like the same thing as the poorest people in Estonia and Slovakia. Norway is as rich as the United States, but their poorest people are fucking ballers. Their poorest people are no problem. They have no problem. The poorest people in Norway are like living like awesome. So let me guess that the average happiness in Norway is way up there because they solved all their social problems. Why does the United States have such a low rating for poor people? Why is it that way? Because historically in the United States, the white supremacist government of the United States depended upon a slave class or a chronically unemployed class in order to extract the most surplus labor. That's what you see here. That's why USA has the richest people and the poorest people. Because of white supremacy. Ta-da! I don't know about Switzerland. I'm assuming Saudi Arabia and UAE is because of the religious fundamentalism in these countries. But I explain USA because of white supremacy. White supremacy is the N-word to white supremacists only. So you go ahead and call a white supremacist a white supremacist. It really hurts their feelings. Stupid white supremacists. Marjorie Taylor Greene is a white supremacist. So let me give you proof. Let me give you proof. So here we're gonna have there's these two people, right? There's a Democratic representative. I forget his name. I don't know who it is. And a extremist, the insurrectionist, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
It's small him because it saves the party. The party's hanging by a thread.
So right now, remember, Republicans' number one priority is power. They will do anything for power. They will sacrifice their children for power. They will sacrifice their integrity for power. Anything for power. That's Republicans. So one of the reasons why McCarthy and Republicans control the House of Representatives is because of one representative by the name of George Santos, allegedly. But George Santos is a fraud. He committed numerous crimes and lied about his past and about everything else. He's a big fat liar. So the Republicans need to kick this guy out of their party because he's a big fat fraud. But they won't do it. Republicans won't do it because they need him there in order to hold on to power. And for them, power is more important than integrity. So they're sacrificing their integrity in order to hold on to power. They don't care if their party is comprised of frauds and liars and rapists and cheats and white supremacists. They don't care. They only care about power. So here, let's watch it. This exchange. So this gentleman on the right is correct. He's like telling the Republican, look, you need to address your problem.
We got to get rid of Biden to save the country.
The party's hanging by a...
Look at how much space there is between these people. Look at how much space there is. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene has her hand pointed at him. He's got his in. He's gesticulating with his hands, but they're pulled in, right? It's not extended outward. His energy is pulled in. He's doing it inwardly. He's gesticulating close to himself inwardly. Marjorie Taylor Greene is extending outward, pushing her energy outward and pointing at the guy. So look who's more aggressive here. Look who's more aggressive. Marjorie Taylor Greene is the aggressive one. Now let's continue. Oh my God.
You gotta save the party.
And then when he comes closer to when he comes closer to her, he turns away from her so that he's gesticulating away from her, not at her. Totally chill, right? Totally chill discussion. She turns to the press, right? She's not addressing him. She's turning to the press. Okay. So he's giving her something. He's like, why won't you address George Santos? And then she turns away from him because it's something she can't address. Republicans cannot talk about George Santos because that speaks directly to their integrity. And they're weak there, right? They have no integrity. They would rather keep George Santos than talk about their integrity. So this is Marjorie Taylor Greene dodging. She's doing a matrix dodge to avoid talking about George Santos. We're watching it happen right here through the power of technology.
Listen, no more QAnon.
His gesture toward her was a separation. It wasn't at her. He didn't direct it at her. He was displaying it here, out here in front of him. He was laying it out. Not directed at her. He was laying it out. Look at her. Look where her arm is. Look where her arm is.
No more MAGA.
No more CNN.
No more.
It jerked a bit, but you see her put her hand out like to that toward him. That's the second time toward him. That's the second time she did it toward him. The second time. That's the second time she did it toward him. The second time. And she faced him. She turned him and faced him and did that. That's the second time that she did it.
No more CNN.
No more.
Look how she leaned in and did the hand thing. Since she leaned in and did the hand thing. Okay. I love reviewing this shit.
That silly nonsense.
Look how close she fucking waved him off right by his head. She was like, boom, right by his head. She waved him off right, dismissed him right by his head. That's pretty disrespectful, dude. You leaned in and went like that right by his head. That's fucked up. That's fucked up, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Alright, go. Dude, I hate that sidebar. I want to disable it. How do I disable this fucking bullshit thing? Can I, here, close it. Can I make it go away? This Windows 7 sidebar thing, go fucking away, dude. I hate it. I can't. So, yeah, Windows is blocking my access to the left side of my screen. Yeah, shit.
Come on now,
You know
save
what?
the party.
No, we gotta
Save
save the
America.
country.
So he's on to something good, right? He's on to something good. She has no answer to George Santos. That's why he keeps pressing it. She has no answer. She tries to dodge. She tries to dismiss him with the hand. She presses him like this. She goes like this. She goes to the press. She's doing everything to avoid George Santos because that's her weak spot. She knows it's a weak spot. She can't touch it. She can't even address it. She won't even talk about it. You see how she won't even talk about it? She can't even address it. She can't even address it. Watch.
Save the children.
Save the
Do
country.
something about guns.
Right, so close
Come
the
on.
He'd do something about guns, and she did it like that. When he said guns, she put it to his chest again and again and again. She's doing microaggressions. Look at these fucking microaggressions. You can see them. All right, here.
Invest in
Close the
education.
border.
Again, another one. Do you see that? All these microaggressions. The gentleman on the right has never once pointed at her. Never once. When he gesticulates, it's always off to the side. If he does, he backs off and puts it in front of himself. He's never directing it at her. It's always in front of himself, off to the side, to the press, off to there. It's never at the person. She is constantly like that, to him. Oh my God. Watch it. She is pressing him big time.
Save the
The
children.
border.
Again, she did it again. And she can't talk about George Santos. Do you see how she's trying to go to anything else? Save the children, save Biden. What the fuck she's talking about? She's floundering. She is trying to go anywhere other than George Santos because she has no answer. She can't talk about it because that speaks directly to the Republican integrity, of which there is none.
The
What
border is
about
what
the
Trump
children?
left.
Hey,
What are
where
you
are all the
talking
kids?
about?
Where
Do you
are
see?
the
Look at his hands. His hands are again not at her. They're never at her. His hands are never at her. They're off to either side of her. Never at her. Her hands always pointing at him. Always in his face. Always pointing at his face. Always. Microaggression. Where's my cursor?
We love
No,
them.
you've lost
We
them.
love the
There's
migrant
tens
children.
of thousands.
Oh, no. See what happened? Here, did you hear what he did? He said, we love the migrant children. He let go of his point. He let go of the George Santos thing. Because he knew he won, right? And he kept pressing it. If he kept pressing George Santos, he might appear aggressive. That's his fear. He doesn't want to appear aggressive. So even though he knows he won that point because Marjorie Taylor Greene has no answer for George Soros, he is going to concede the point and move on because he doesn't want to appear aggressive. And so I think he made a mistake. Instead of picking up her point, instead of conceding to her verbiage, he should have picked a different direction and talked about something else, like Ukraine, like mass shootings, like Tennessee, the way that the legislature kicked out people in Tennessee, or like they did it in Montana, where they kicked out Zoe Zephyr in Montana. Like, talk about those things. Never pick up the talking points of your opponent. Never listen to, because Republicans are like, not of your opponent. Never pick up the talking points of a person who talks to you in bad faith. because they're not talking to you in good faith. So if you use their words, they're only using it to wreck the thing. They're not trying to come to a common understanding. They're not trying to enlighten you. They're not trying to illuminate the situation. All they want to do is mess you up and muddy up everything. So you never concede anything to a person of bad faith. Marjorie Taylor Greene is nothing but bad faith. You never concede anything to her. But this guy, being a nice guy, conceded her point about children and starts talking about children. The moment he starts talking about children, that's her territory, and now she becomes super aggressive because it's her area now. Now she found her footing. Before talking about George Santos, she had nothing. But now talking about her thing, children, now she's where she wants to be, and she's gonna fucking drag him. She's gonna drag him now. Watch.
We lost them.
You can't find them.
What are you
That's
talking
your
about?
administration.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, migrant children are missing. You don't know.
So remember, Donald Trump stole a bunch of kids he separated families, Donald Trump, and then he stole those kids and adopted them out, right? Kind of like what Russia did. Russia did the same thing. Russia invaded Ukraine, stole a bunch of kids, and then adopted them out to Russian parents. Donald Trump, same thing. Refugees were fleeing their bad situations from their home countries, and Donald Trump stole the children and then adopted them out to other families, and then they can't be found. So now Marjorie Taylor Greene is doing Darvo. She's reversing it. She's saying that Biden was the one who lost it. See, because now whenever you talk about kids, that's an emotional thing. That kids oftentimes sparks an emotional response, which bypasses the rational filter of your brain. And that's why Republicans love insinuation, because you bypass the rationality and speak directly to emotion, the insinuation. That's exactly what Republicans do. So now that the guy conceded the point about kids is a very emotional thing. She's fucking things up by introducing all sorts of lies and covering it up with the emotional response of children. By talking about kids. You see perfectly. So she was aggressive toward him while he was doing his, like she was big time aggressive toward him as he was doing his thing. Because he was right. Then he conceded and he stopped pressing his point and adopted her talking point, which was the kids. Now let's see how she's like in his face again and making shit up. It's awful what she's doing.
No, we don't know them.
Oh, you actually listened before. Hey, let me tell you.
You see how he pushed it away from her, never toward her, always away from her. Every time it's away from her, never at her. But she is in his face all the time. She is in his face. Look at where he's turned and look where she's turned. Look at where the body is.
Listen, I need you to save the party.
You should pay attention.
Only at the end does he mirror her body language. He mirrored her body language. Watch, go back. He's gonna mirror her body language because he's done, right? He's gonna start mirroring her body language. So see again like that, pushing her face, and he pushes it away. In his face, and he pushed it away. Okay. Man, this is so hard. I gotta fix that flaw in Windows 11.
Hey, let me tell you something,
Listen, I
Jamal.
need you to
Not
save
very
the party.
smart. You should pay attention. She ain't worth it, bro.
Save the party.
She ain't worth it, bro. She ain't worth it.
She's not worth it. She's not worth it. Okay, now wait. Now we all saw what happened, right? Marjorie Taylor Greene, pretty aggressive with all her fucking hand movements and microaggressions. We all saw the microaggressions. Everyone got to see them. Okay, what does Marjorie Taylor Greene do now?
I had to have so much security. There was not enough. I was swarmed. It's all on video. Everyone can see this. But I will tell you what's on video is Jamal Bowman shouting at the top of his lungs, cursing, calling me a horrible, calling me a white supremacist.
What? We just watched the video, motherfucker. What are you talking about? We just watched the video. Those words never came out of his mouth. He never shouted to you. He was never threatening to you. What are you talking about? Needed security. Dude, you were totally safe. You were surrounded by a bunch of press. Is that what you're afraid of? The press? Is that what you're afraid of? Oh my God, you're just making shit up and trying to paint a black man as being aggressive because you're literally a white supremacist. He didn't say that. You just made it up out of whole cloth. You just made it up. I can't believe it, dude. You just made it up. You just made that up to disparage a black man. A white woman just fucking made up shit to make a black man look bad. How much more on the nose do you need to get?
Which I take great offense to. That is like calling a person of color the N-word, which should never happen.
No, it's not. No, it's not. A white supremacist is literally a white supremacist. An N-word is meant to, like, destroy people. You don't say the N-word in a good way. Or N-word is not a word of truth. It's a word of destruction. White supremacy is a word. White supremacist is a word of truth. That's what you literally are. You're literally a white supremacist. But the fact that you take great offense to it tells me something.
Calling me a white supremacist is equal to that, and that is wrong.
No, it's not, white supremacist. No, it's not. Marjorie Taylor Greene is a white supremacist. Absolutely. Absolutely. In every single sense of the word, she's a white supremacist. Absolutely. She's like, no way is it equivalent to the N-word. No way. Calling a white woman of great power a white supremacist is not equivalent to calling a historically enslaved class the word used by the enslavers. It's not the same thing, nowhere near the same thing. But white supremacists love false equivalence. They love false equivalence. Remember, for white supremacists, the only thing that matters is power, not truth. Truth is their enemy. They don't want you to see truth. All they want is power. So here, Marjorie Taylor Greene is using her power to try to shape reality into to help her. But the truth is different. They're not the same thing. You're totally wrong, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Oh no, damn it.
Me a white supremacist is equal to that, and that is wrong.
No,
Jamal
you're a white
Bowman was
supremacist.
down there cursing at me, telling me to get the F out of there, and he was leading the mob right.
We just watched the video. He never cursed. He never. Oh wait a minute. Shit! Fuck! Ah! Oh, I'm Alright, not a bad thing, not a big deal. Don't stand outside. That's twice I died by falling. Alright, I'll go to bed. Okay. We all watched the video. We all watched the same video. He did not curse. He did not threaten her. He did not lead a mob. He did not call her a white supremacist. Everything she said at this press conference is a lie, meant to defame Jamal Warner, or I think that's his name. Everything she said is a lie. Everything, like literally everything. Literally everything. We all watched the video, and even though there was a fuck ton of videos all recording it, she still has the gall to the caucasity to repeat these lies about what happened. We just fucking watched it. We just watched it.
Outside the vehicle I was sitting in. We have this all on video. And then on the Capitol steps yesterday, he was the one that approached me. Even CNN reported that. Yelling, shouting, raising his voice. He has aggressive...
No, we all watched it, dude. We all watched it. Yeah, when he gesticulated, it was at himself, it was to the side, or it was to the press. He only started pointing at Marjorie Taylor Greene at the end, after she repeatedly in his face disparaged him and did that shit. Repeatedly. The microaggressions. She thinks we can't see it. She thinks we can't see the microaggressions.
His physical mannerisms are aggressive, and
who was the aggressive one? She was the aggressive one. Marjorie Taylor Greene was the aggressive one. We all watched the video. I paused it a lot, so we all got it in.
He just recently shoved Thomas Massey just outside the house.
So what she's doing is something called insinuation. This is what white supremacists do a lot, because they don't have. Remember, truth is not on their side. if truth is not on your side, you can't bring facts and evidence because truth is not on your side. So if truth is not on your side, you have to resort to insinuation, to lies. You have to do it. That's what Marjorie Taylor Greene is doing. She has no proof. She has no evidence. So all she can do is do insinuations, lies, to destroy the character, the reputation of this other lawmaker. That's all she can do because she's a white supremacist. That's what white supremacists do. That's what they do.
House chamber. I think there's a lot of concern about Jamal Bowman. So, and
Jamal
I
Bowman.
am concerned about it.
Oh, so it looks like white supremacists are concerned about Jamal Bowman. It must mean Jamal Bowman is very effective. We must support Jamal Bowman. If he scares white supremacists that bad, he must be a great guy. It's like the same thing, like Russia. Russia is saying, oh, it's a bad idea if the West sends F-16s to Ukraine. Why? Because F-16s will wreck Russia. Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying, oh, this Jamal Bowman guy is pretty concerning. Well, if white supremacists are concerned about Jamal, he must be a pretty good guy.
I feel threatened by him. He not only led a mob there, but his boisterous lies. And I'll tell you another thing.
So I'm glad that white supremacists feel threatened by the truth. I'm glad. If you can be destroyed by the truth, you should be. I'm glad you feel threatened by Jamal. If you can be destroyed by the truth, you should be. I'm glad you feel threatened. White supremacist Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm glad you feel threatened. Not physically. In no way were you physically threatened. In no way. In no way were you physically threatened. No way were you physically threatened. The only threat came to your ego, to your ideology. Because your ideology is of ego, of power. Power is ego. You want to satisfy your ego. So the only thing threatened was your ego, was your pride. And that's not a good enough reason to disparage another man because your pride was wounded. That's not a good enough reason. You're just talking shit, Marjorie Taylor Greene, because you're a white supremacist. You can't help it but talk shit because you're a white. It's who you are. You're a white supremacist, Marjorie Taylor Greene. You can't help but talk shit.
He said outside there, he was saying, save your party. I kept telling him no.
Yeah, because, there's this guy named George Santos in your party, which has destroyed any credibility of integrity. The Republicans have no integrity. It's clear they only care about power. That's why George Santos is in position. How do you address that? She couldn't address it. She couldn't talk about it.
Save the country. It's not about political parties. We shouldn't care about political parties.
But yet, your political party is about to destroy the credit of the United States because it's unable to pass a budget. How weird is that? How weird is that?
We should care about the country because no matter what our political beliefs are, Jamal Bowman, I don't know what his political beliefs are. I know.
That's a bunch of bullshit. Of course you know what they are. Of course you know what they are. Just like I know your political beliefs, Marjorie Taylor Greene. For example, Marjorie Taylor Greene, you're a white supremacist.
Know what mine are, but we both swore an oath to serve the country.
Yeah, and that's weird, right? You both swore an oath to serve the country, but for white supremacists, the country is only talking about white people. That's all they care about. For Confederates like Marjorie Taylor Greene, they only swear allegiance to the Confederate States of America. Not to the United States of America, but to the Confederate States of America. They swear an allegiance to the Confederate States of America. They're literally traitors. Oh, shit.
I had to have so much security. Jamal Bowman, I don't know what his political beliefs are. I know here in Congress as representatives. So I am very concerned about Jamal Bowman. And
good. That means he's effective. That means he's effective.
Marjorie Taylor Greene in her press conference this morning said something incredibly dangerous and incredibly reckless about me, talking about my demeanor as being aggressive and saying that she feels intimidated by me. Unfortunately, this country has a history of characterizing black men who are outspoken, who stand their ground, and who push back as being threatening or intimidating. So she's not even using a dog whistle. She's using a bullhorn to put a target on my back to the people that she refers to as MAGA people out there who might want to cause harm. This is the same reason why Mike Brown was killed. This is one of the reasons why Emmett Till was killed. And throughout history, black men have continued to be characterized as aggressive because, one, because of our skin color, but two, because we happen to be outspoken and passionate about certain issues.
So you think what she said was racist?
It's reckless and dangerous what she said, okay? Characterizing me, in my interaction with her yesterday, I never invaded her personal space. I was laughing and gregarious the entire time. How was that intimidating? What was intimidating about that? So she goes to a press conference today and say that she's intimidated by me and my mannerisms are aggressive. Anyone who's interacted with me, anyone who knows me, even reporters here, know I'm middle school principal energy. I'm always loving and engaging and friendly, except when kids are being killed in our streets. Everyone should be outraged about that. So do not conflate what my engagement with Representative Massey with my engagement with her yesterday. It was completely different. But she knows what she's doing when she does that. And unfortunately, white supremacists historically, this is what they do. They try to dehumanize black people, black skin, and the black humanity so that they can be, more likely to be targeted for harm. So I just wanted to address that. And I was surprised that no one asked me about this when y'all first came to me with the media scrum. No one asked me directly about my reaction to her press conference. Framed it in all these other ways. And then went to Massey. That was 3 weeks ago, a month ago. We're talking about what happened yesterday and what happened this morning, and what she did was dangerous and reckless. I just wanted to say that to y'all for the record.
Yes, yes. Where is it? Stochastic terrorism. Because what Marjorie Taylor Greene is trying to stoke stochastic terrorism. Stochastic terrorism, this is how it works. In direct terrorism, the instigator knows the attacker. And then the attackers and the victims are strangers. So in direct terrorism. So this is a person saying, hey, I know you guys. I want you to go attack these strangers. That's direct terrorism. Hey guys, hey group of people, I'm talking directly to you. I want you to go attack these people over there that are strangers. That's direct terrorism. Stochastic terrorism is the terrorism used by white supremacists, Donald Trump, and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Stochastic terrorism is a little bit different. Well, okay, so it's not quite the same, but it's a little bit different. Stochastic terrorism is where the instigator does not know the attacker. But the stochastic terrorism knows the victims. One doesn't know the victims, but they know about the victims. They're like, I don't like this group, so I'm gonna use my platform to talk shit about this group. I don't know about this group. Attackers and I don't know about this group either. I'm just gonna talk shit about this group, and then maybe one of these guys here will go attack them. That's the difference. This one they say, hey guys, I want you to attack these people. And this one they say, I don't know anybody. I'm just going to put out there that I want bad things to happen to these people. And then hopefully someone will make my wishes come true. That's what Marjorie Taylor Greene is doing. She talked real bad things about that representative in hopes that someone will act upon her lies and do something bad to him. That's what white supremacists do. That's their modus operandus. So they tell a bunch of fake lies. So white supremacists use a bunch of fake lies to get random strangers to attack other random strangers they don't like. For white supremacy. This is Smaug, the dragon from The Hobbit. Smaug famously stole a mountain full of gold, so full that he sleeps buried under the gold. We're talking literal tons and tons of gold by weight. Forbes ranks Smaug as the second wealthiest fictional character. He had been first, but the price of gold took a tumble, and now his vast, overwhelming fortune is only worth an estimated $51 billion. That means that even though he has an entire mountain full of almost nothing but solid gold, Smaug would rank as the 15th wealthiest American. 14 Americans have more money than a gold-hoarding dragon. Please consider that next time you say deca-billionaires deserve their wealth and shouldn't pay their employees a living wage. Elon Musk has more wealth than a fucking dragon that sleeps buried under a mountain of gold. I don't want to do Jerome. Okay, what time is it? I've gone for a while. I need to, like, stop. Okay, the last thing. Let me tell you a little story. Oh, it's raining. I haven't gone on very many dates here in Salem. I haven't gone on very many dates. One of the dates I went on, though, was with a woman who had very, very striking blue eyes. And yeah, she had really, 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 really blue eyes, like light blue eyes, pale blue eyes. And anyways, it was the date was over, and like her car was across the street, and it was nighttime, and her car was across the street. So I don't know, I'm just gentlemanly, right? I just want to escort my date to their car to make sure that everything's cool and all. So I escorted my date to the car, and she looked at me and said, no, you don't need to do this. You don't need to take me to my car. I'm cool. But when she did it, her eyes caught the light from the fluorescent light from the bank. Full on. Her eyes caught the light full on from the bank. And I saw it and like freaked out. I jumped back. I don't like, oh! When she did that, when she's looked up at me and with the light shining in her eyes, I like jumped back. I freaked out for a second. I didn't know what happened. It was kind of weird. And I didn't know why. This happened like years ago. And I'm like, why did I do that? Why did I react so strongly to her eyes when she looked up to me, like that? And then I remembered. I remember. I used to watch this show all the time when I was a kid. And when the fluorescent lights shined in her real light blue eyes, her telling me, "No, don't do this. You don't need to walk me to my car." That's why I freaked out. Because you won't like me when I'm angry. So I just thought it was funny. I'm like, no wonder I freaked out. It's from a TV show I watched years ago. Anyways, yeah, my computer is beautiful. I love the way it works. It's working fantastically. It runs so nice. It didn't crash. It runs like liquid smooth. Like I have a beautiful stream. Like everything's running fantastic. It took so much work to get here, but I'm glad I made it. So I'm glad you're hanging out with me. You guys, I think we need, we're moving toward there, right? We're moving, the goal here is multiracial democracy in the United States. And our enemies are the white supremacists who want to stop that from happening. But I think we're going to make it. I think we're going to do it. I think we can do it. I believe we can do it. We can achieve multiracial democracy. It's going to be hard because white supremacists have taken control of many states. and have made it so it's hard to remove them from those states through they made it almost impossible to remove them through democratic methods. You can't vote them out anymore because they got rid of democracy. So I'm not really sure how we can address that. but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So until then, America, keep on bending that arc toward justice. All right, Pogokiro out. Peace. Stop.